Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the Netcapital team. I know that we are running particularly behind today, but I think we had a little bit of a breakdown in our panelist link through Zoom. So if you guys could just bear with me for a moment, we'll get the right people into the panelist room from the participants. And here we go right now. So go ahead and promote. There we go. Mr. Samuels, how are
Eric, you? I'm good. Wow, what's going on with the technology tonight?
You know, I have a working theory that technology is good enough to get us hooked, just to let us down. And so,
That's right.
in traditional technological theme, we were both in the same room, just on different ends of the kind of different corners. But we are here now, and we have some folks in the line, so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us. And how would you like to be referred to? Mr. Samuels, D. Alexis?
D. Alexis is fine. That's what everybody knows me by.
Perfect. I think that's what I had from last time. So I love that. Thank you so much.
Good to see you again, Eric. Good to see you. Yeah.
It is. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. As we get closer to the holidays, happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And it really is a pleasure to have you on the line. What you've been building with FinLitX is really exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and go through my traditional spiel here, even though we're a couple minutes behind, but we'll be able to keep on path and get through our scheduled content. So I just want to thank everybody for joining again. Welcome. As I mentioned, I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the Netcapital team. I'm very excited to be welcoming D. Alexis with FinLitX onto the program here today. As always, this company is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. I'm going to add a link to that directly into the chat feature right here. There it is. But of course, if you cannot click the link right now, you can go directly to netcapital.com and search FinLitX, and search FinLit, or go directly to netcapital.com/companies/FINLIT. So you can definitely learn more, review the offering materials, and if you're so inclined, you can invest. I'll do a couple of really quick housekeeping items. I'm going to streamline this all the way down. So please do use the Q&A feature built into Zoom. I know there is also a chat feature. The Q&A makes it so much easier for us to track the questions as they come in. I really do want to get to as many of them as possible. So please do ask your questions, and please do use the Q&A feature. So much easier. That's actually all I'm going to go through right now. So let's go ahead and kick things off here. D. Alexis, if you're ready, why don't you go and hop on in, tell us a little bit about what you're building with FinLitX, and then we'll talk about yourself and the team.
Fantastic. Well, what we're building is an education ecosystem. Well, what is that? Let me describe it. We're building an app that will teach financial literacy and a platform that will enable education providers, students, and consumers globally to enhance their education digitally. The foundation of it is financial literacy. Financial literacy is the single most important subject that can be taught in schools today. It's been well established that financial literacy underpins every social skill in which we have today. Everything from our mental health to our financial well-being, to where we live, to how we finish in life, even our physical health. It's all connected to our financial literacy. And so by teaching financial literacy, we are offering an ability to raise our standard in living. Worldwide program. It's an established fact that when financial literacy is offered inside school systems, more students graduate, more students go on to college. Household social living also is enhanced. Even siblings, those coming up behind them, follow along and end up in college. And so we're really excited about what we're able to do. We've been at this game now for a number of years, And we have some amazing case studies also that shows the importance of financial literacy. So that's the market in which we're in. Yeah.
And a very, very sharp brother like yourself with the ox blood on, nobody has to second guess that this is exactly where we need to allocate more time and resources. But can you tell us a little bit more about who is underneath the suit in the Alexis and the rest of the team that you surround yourself with? That's critically important here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in corporate America for over 30 years now, running both financial tech, banking firms, and now involved with financial literacy and education. Back in 2007, I began designing games that teach financial literacy and introduced the first game to the New York City school system. They right away adopted it as an educational tool that's used within the classroom. We then expanded on to 18 different states, including Miami, Florida, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, Baltimore, Maryland, and a host of other states where our tabletop systems are used both in consumer households as well as in school systems. Well, when COVID-19 hit, many schools began approaching us and asking us to provide them with an online version of our premier game called Road to Prosperity. Well, soon thereafter, we designed a game in virtual mode called FinLitX, and that's where the brand name FinLitX was developed. So we're about to go into beta testing in about phase 2 beta in 3 months, introducing an autonomous app that teaches financial literacy using advanced AI, artificial intelligence, gamification, and it's an automated system that uses predictive learning. What is predictive learning? It's the ability to actually go entirely through the course without a monitor or a teacher standing over you. That's one of the biggest problems the school system today face. They want to teach financial literacy. In fact, some 35 states now mandate the teaching of financial literacy to their high schoolers before they graduate. Well, the teachers themselves are ill-equipped to be able to teach financial literacy. There's also no single or unified course across the United States that establishes the baseline for what is personal finance or financial literacy. And so through our union and our expertise, we're able to establish not just that uniform platform, but a digital system of delivery that reduces the cost for school systems and also delivers a complete, certified, accredited financial literacy program using rewards and gamification directly to the students and consumers globally. I said rewards. Can you imagine playing a financial literacy game and earning cryptocurrency, which is the hot commodity today? Our motto is financial literacy for a digital world. So we're preparing our students for tomorrow, not just today, but tomorrow. And within the United States, there's a tremendous increase in expenditure and investment capital just in the 2020 to 2022 period. Investment in EdTech and financial literacy increased by some 300%. And we're seeing tremendous global increase from where financial literacy is today, some 235 billion, but that's forecasted to increase to well over $2 trillion within just the next 5 years. So it's the place to be today in education technology, preparing the world for what's coming.
Beautiful sentiment. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to wrap my head around. I struggle so much for the FinLit. I just something about the abbreviated, I think about a soft consonant there. So I don't know, but FinLitX is exactly right. So that actually ties in. You're talking about the future and what has happened in the past. Questions are already coming in, which I love. Please continue to ask your questions. We want to keep this interactive. So when this person was in high school many moons ago, they say, they actually taught us how to manage a checkbook and create and follow a budget. Critical skills. It's a shame that they have stopped, but is this what you're looking to do with FinLitX? I know there's a lot more. So if you could dig into what is that piece of it, and then how else do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. It's coincidental that you use the example of learning how to write a checkbook. We did a survey early in the year about how many high schoolers today have a checkbook. How many receive checks when they go to a bank and open up an account? 0. In fact, 9 out of 10 high schoolers or youth, when they want a bank account, guess what they do? They go to their cell phone, they open up an app, and they open up a bank account. And they even get a debit card along with that account. And guess what? It starts with a virtual account, a virtual debit card, so that they can begin transacting online immediately. So to answer the question, what is our curriculum? We include today's financial literacy, which, yes, goes into how to write a check, what goes on that memo line, where to put your signature, what are those 9 digits that represent, the routing number, and also your account number. They need to know that because that's today's financial literacy. But they also need to know financial literacy for tomorrow. And so we teach digital financial literacy and the important things associated with budgeting, savings, investing, and we teach financial values. That is so important. So that within our gamified financial literacy app, those who play, users are introduced to financial concepts and situations where they have to think about what course to take. That impacts the investment, that impacts the value of what they want to purchase, that even impacts their credit score. It's so important that our youth learn how to quantify and qualify the value of our economy today. There's nothing wrong with buying a $300 or $400 pair of sneakers if you can afford it. But if you find that you can't afford an emergency that might arise within your financial profile and be able to manage out of that emergency, then is there a need to adjust one's financial values? And so when we speak of gamification, we speak of events that take place that's presented in front of the user that helps to actually remap and create financial values where they may not have been any. Interesting fact also, some 85% of children learn financial values from their parents. Not in school, but from their parents. But what does that really mean? If the parents have poor financial values, what are they handing down to their children? Poor financial values. If the parents go out and buy every expensive item they can get, and yet have debt and poor credit or missing payments, continue to fill out those applications every time they come in the mail for another $200 credit line, with a 25% interest rate. What values are they handing down to the children? Yet on the other hand, if the parents can develop financial values and teach that to their children, that's what this is all about. It's a both tabletop as well as digital experience that we're introducing to them. And when you look at our website, when you look at our social media, such as Instagram, FinLitX on Instagram, you see children all across the country playing our games, and parents and families all playing it all together, very excitedly learning together. So that's the paradigm that we're changing. That's why I was so excited about this topic of financial literacy.
That's an important message, and it does transcend generations. It is, you kind of pick up the baggage that were laid at your feet. And so for those who are unfamiliar, let's do a deep dive into the problem and the FinLitX solution. So I know, basic financial literacy, balancing a checkbook is a piece of it. Understanding and operating within your budget is another piece of it, but there's so much more that's going on here. How big is the problem? What is that problem? And how does FinLitX address that problem?
One example that I could give is the student loan debt. That's a huge issue. Right now, we're looking at about a $1.5 trillion student loan debt that has accumulated. Why? Well, because the average student cannot afford a high quality education. Colleges and the cost of education continues to increase from year to year, so that now, as mentioned, there's about a 1.5 escalating to $2 trillion student loan debt. Well, it was just announced this week that the moratorium on student debt payments will be removed, and collection will begin once again February 1st. The economy is suffering because of student loan debt and the cost of education. It's a deep, deep, deep problem. The more we can create educational programs where there's a huge demand and satisfy some of these skill sets, either by assisting the educational institution in creating ecosystems to support it, to enhance education and to reduce the cost of education by having this educational platform based upon blockchain and apps development. It provides an easy platform for schools to unify educational topics, as well as to reduce the cost, streamline administration, because once again, it's an autonomous app, and it's global, bringing education to social environments and countries where the educational percentages of those that are going to school and graduating school are very, very low, throughout Africa, throughout South America, and even in many parts of this country, the United States. So it's a deep problem. How we address it is by providing an ecosystem designed to support education.
I love that. I love that. And let's take a kind of a more kind of granular approach to the solution. So what does the ecosystem look like? What are some of the really important characteristics? I know you could talk about this forever. So in a couple of moments, what are some of the elements of FinLitX that you're most proud of?
Well, what is included in the ecosystem? It's a gamified app, first of all, that delivers a full-scale curriculum of education, with its foundation and lead being that of financial literacy. That app provides a reward system so that as students and even consumers that are not in school play this app, they receive rewards, retail rewards, as well as cryptocurrency rewards, along with what's called a hot wallet. In the cryptocurrency, a hot wallet is a wallet that you can store your cryptocurrency, be it Bitcoin, be it Ethereum, or even our coin called the RTP coin that creates a circular economy. Well, while students are also earning these coins, we are also partnering with school systems to accept the coin, stable coin pegged to the US dollar, as payment for tuition, very exciting, for room and board, for sundries. And it's even been said that within 40% of the HBCUs, the majority of the students have to borrow in order to be able to have lunch on a daily basis. That's incredible. So just being able to supplement their income by $100 a week. But imagine playing a financial literacy app gamified experience and earning cryptocurrency, and then going to your school and being able to spend that right there in that institution. I'm happy to announce, don't get me started, we just established a partnership with NYU, New York University, one of the most exciting and often considered Ivy League schools within this country, with over 100,000 active students and over 800,000 alumni. Amazing. How are we working with NYU? They're making available to us their technology and their research and development departments. So we now have access to all of those resources to help us design and develop curriculum, establishing a national standard for financial literacy. And then how do they benefit from us, from FinLitX? Well, NYU and many other schools and corporations are on a mission to enhance DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion of Blacks and Hispanics within their school systems. And so since we have direct inroad into many, many school systems around the country that are in urban settings, we're now able to introduce such schools as NYU, New York University, where many of those students or those in those neighborhoods around the country may not be quite thinking about an NYU career. Right now, NYU, for example, is known as the premier school for doctors and dentists and scientists, to attend. Those are wonderful subjects and courses that just anyone, particularly those ones that may not have had immediate access to that in the past. So we appreciate that partnership greatly. We also established an amazing global partnership with UNESCO, the United Nations Educational Organization. And you can just imagine that social movement globally carrying our financial literacy app where they go into communities, into countries, into cities globally. So we're about to hit the launch button with this app and take it into places where this type of demand has existed but has not been fulfilled for a long time. So we're gratified to be inside this marketplace.
Congratulations, first and foremost. Those are incredible accomplishments. Those are fantastic partnerships that will continue to develop and guide your, help usher you into the next level of FinLitX.
Yes.
So that's really exciting, and thanks for being here on the line to share it with the attendees and memorialize this. It is all about who's around you and what you can build. But at the end of the day, there's only so much market share to be had. So for those who are unfamiliar, how large is the financial literacy marketplace? And we'll talk about some of the players in the space and how you differentiate yourself later. But just for now, how big is this market?
Well, the financial literacy marketplace is currently running at about $3 billion within the United States. EdTech, though, which is the market that we move around in, is running at about $80 billion. And it's scheduled to increase to nearly $1 trillion over the next 5 years because of all the conversion that's going on of educational programs to digital delivery systems. And so the marketplace is huge. It's considered the #1 investor marketplace, dovetailed with fintech, financial technology. There are banks, there are insurance companies, corporations that are eager to convert their systems and to digitize them. And there's a lot being said about cryptocurrency also, to introduce cryptocurrency marketplaces to the system. Case in point, where we have our marketing division in Miami, the city of Miami is now distributing their own coin called the Miami coin, and that's offsetting taxes and bringing in tax revenue. In New York City, the mayor-elect, Eric Adams, has also introduced his initiatives to bring and make New York City the digital capital of the world, and remove some of the barriers that previously existed, so that he has said he wants to take his first 3 months of salary in Bitcoin. So it's within our scope, since we have access to Eric Adams, to introduce this educational system in the city of New York as well. We're already in the New York City Department of Education with our financial literacy programs. We will be introducing it to, or introducing the crypto elements to it as well. So it's a natural progression for us. And by getting these schools involved in accepting our crypto as a means of payment for tuition and other important educational expenses, that's a game changer. It's never been done before. And so we're getting a lot of excellent response from that.
So exciting. The future of what Miami and New York have in store. Very exciting, and congratulations on being able to break through the red tape to be able to be a part of that growth in those cities. What does the revenue model look like? So we're talking a little bit now about road to prosperity. It could tell more folks about what that exactly is, and then how does FinLitX make money through these educational programs?
Sure. Well, we've covered a lot within our market. There's a lot of demand. There's offline demand, there's online demand. So we started out back in 2007 designing offline educational systems. The first one in which we developed is called Road to Prosperity. It's a 21 module educational system that allows families to sit around the table and play various subjects, from financial literacy to health and nutrition, to how to build a credit score, to banking, to economics, to even including civil rights inside the curriculum. Well, when one plays this learning system using gamification, they actually learn the skill sets behind these subjects. We have on display behind me here a copy of the actual Road to Prosperity learning system. So that's a tabletop system that now is hybrid, because we've added an app to it, which allows for interplay within, or with an online experience as well, to deepen the learning process, to provide a reward system through the app. And so that is called FinLitX. The FinLitX, what is our revenue model? With regard to the tabletop systems, they are being distributed directly to schools and are used by schools within classrooms that may not be fully online. And it's also being distributed through consumer relationships. We just formed a relationship to take the tabletop systems onto QVC, HSN, and Shopping HQ, as well as distribution through Target and Walmart. So that'll be a tremendous push to distribute the learning system, offline system, through those distribution networks. The online app will be a download from Google Play, as well as Apple in the store, and both consumers and students can download it there. We have a licensing system as well for schools and school districts to be able to purchase licenses for the institutional version of the app to be able to introduce within their schools. So there are multiple revenue models available. And should I also explain that inside the app itself, internally, while playing the app, it automatically generates revenue, because we've partnered with retailers, brand names such as Sony and others, that provide us with advertising revenue. So by students playing for specific rewards, that reward is displayed. The manufacturer and provider of that reward, let's call it a Sony PlayStation or PlayStation 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever number they're up to right now. The students will get excited about that. They play for it, and all the users inside the app get a chance to see. The eyeballs hit that product. What is that otherwise called? It's called advertising, to the Sonys of the world. And then they pay us revenue on the back end to be able to advertise their products within the app. So there's a multiple system of revenue. The crypto rewards also generates revenue, and it enhances the return on investment for our investors significantly.
Tell you what, if you have PlayStation 5s in your back pocket, you could probably convince the youth of America to do just about anything. So I'm glad you're putting it towards a good use.
Absolutely.
That's really exciting. And I think when we talk about what you've been able to do, what you plan to do, there are so many other successes that you recently accomplished that I want to make sure that you have a chance to cover. Before we get to those, though, and they had a couple more questions that came in, so I want to make sure that we get to those. And actually, before I even get to those questions, I'd like to remind folks, as always, FinLitX is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. You can go directly to Netcapital and search FinLit, or you can go to netcapital.com/companies/FinLit, or you can click the link that is in chat and just re-add that into the chat feature through Zoom. So you can click that directly, learn more, and invest if you're so inclined. As we're getting closer to the end of programming, I want to make sure that people understand ultimately why we're here, educational and value creation. So from the audience here, when they play for the reward, are they playing against other players or against the system? Good question.
Yeah, well, they have the ability to play alone, or they can play head to head, or they can play as groups. And so one of our marketing themes is introducing the concept of schools actually playing against other schools, creating some friendly and wholesome competition between the school systems. Cities also establishing tournaments to support financial literacy. That's actually one of the things that we're looking to do in 2022 into 23. Since it's all virtual, we'll have the ability to establish financial literacy tournaments within cities and inviting school systems to come out and support that, and to get their students involved, rewards, sponsorships. I can also mention that we've partnered with such companies as iHeartMedia. That's one of our partners. And other media agencies in order to provide the kind of draw and excitement that's needed in order to be able to reach our youth, also. We've had some amazing events in that respect too. So we've brought on board the necessary people and talent and corporate relationships in order to do this. We're also excited that we entered into a advisory board relationship with a gentleman by the name of Harold Epps, who's now our corporate advisor. He's been with us for a little over a year now, helping us get to where we are right now. He used to be the president of and chief financial officer with the city of Philadelphia. And he was also the president, chief officer with a company called PRTW, I believe it's the acronym, but that's a $200 million corporation, annual revenue. He was their president for a number of years. And so we had to bring on that corporate talent to enable us to be able to manage the growth and the scale in which we anticipate over the next couple of years to our exit. We're already speaking to accountants and attorneys about a public exit that will enable us to really get some liquidity and traction, for our investors and to support the continued revenue growth. It's a huge marketplace, and we realize the importance of bringing in investors and investment revenue and being able to manage that growth to stay ahead of the curve.
Fantastic, Alexis. And you talked about a couple of the major pieces that you've been able to develop, and you haven't discussed, I'm surprised, the direct-to-consumer element. I'm not sure if you can. Let me make sure I'm going to be thoughtful here. Can we talk a little bit about the consulting firm you're working with for placement on certain direct-to-consumer channels?
Yeah, well, we have individuals that work closely with those shopping channels that I mentioned before, QVC, HSN, Shopping HQ, and that have direct sales and placement access to Target, Walmart. I myself went into Walmart myself and met with 8 different regional managers, and they told me directly that they can sell as many of these gaming systems that teach financial literacy as we can manufacture. And that's huge. So just as long as we can maintain good manufacture, we manufacture domestically with some components coming out of the Far East, but we attempt to manufacture as much as we possibly can right here within the United States. That gives us a little bit more control of supply so that we can fulfill the demand that continually is being renewed. And we feel that with a direct-to-consumer marketplace, both through those channels, as well as the app direct-to-consumer marketplace coming directly off of the internet, Google Play download, Apple download, we're servicing that marketplace very, very well. And then we're also balancing our revenue with institutional revenue coming in from school districts through licensing revenue, and continually expanding that through back-end advertising and database revenue as well.
Absolutely. And as we get closer to the end here, I want to make sure we allocate enough time for closing remarks, but I also want to give you a chance to talk about the competitive landscape, defensibility, intellectual property. So, when you look at yourself and how you fit in with the other players in the ecosystem, who else, without, you don't have to name names, but what are other platforms out there, and how do you differentiate yourself from those? Is there any intellectual property that helps you be more defensible against new entrants into the market?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, our Road to Prosperity Learning System, the system that's behind me, is trademarked, and it has been trademarked, registered for the last 5 years. In addition to that, of course, FinLitX is trademarked, and the algorithms in which we are designing, we will have a utility patent on that, which enhances its value. As far as the competitive landscape, it might sound presumptuous to say, but our design on a financial literacy app stands alone because it incorporates the autonomous element of delivery along with the gamification and reward system using crypto. Now, can somebody else come along and do that? Well, we're going to have quite a head start on anybody that's out there. And given the fact that we're affiliated, our background, we're in the educational space. We're not a marketing company or a technology company that's coming into this market because they see an opportunity to make money. We were first in education, and we have educational relationships with school districts around the country. So we have the ability to create an app and introduce it to our existing partners, as opposed to the cold call or the new introduction that hasn't yet been proven. So we have that established relationship. And as mentioned earlier, We've expanded that with the likes of an NYU with over 100,000 students nationwide, 800,000 alumni, UNESCO. And those are just a few of the starters that we're working with. There are 131,000 schools within the United States, some 1 billion students globally, all of which are our market in terms of financial literacy. And that's one of the strategic reasons why we reached out to UNESCO, because they have inroads into markets globally and school systems globally that can introduce our app with that kind of welcome. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and why? How could you not? That's super exciting. And I see a couple people in the chat already talking about they've already invested. They're excited for the growth opportunity. So, congratulations to you guys, and welcome to the family. For those who are eager to continue to see what you guys can do. And so, last couple moments here. I love this last question. I think it's really important for potential investors. Why is now the right time to go to netcapital.com and click that invest button? And of course, last little reminder, you can click the link that I added to chat. You can go directly to netcapital.com and search FinLit, FINLIT. I think I realized why I have to say FinLit is because fintech, even though it should be fintech, it should be
fintech. That's right, financial.
It should be fintech. I've been saying everybody's the same fintech for forever. It's so hard to break that habit. But you go to directly to Netcapital, search FinLit, FINLIT, click the link that I added to chat. But right now we're going to learn why now is the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and click invest on FinLitX.
Well, we can't finish with a better question, because timing is everything. We are at the threshold of a major rocket launch into this educational ecosystem. In February, we are launching the digital component, or the cryptocurrency component of our ecosystem, educational ecosystem. That enhances the company's value, our market cap. I can't talk numbers, I can't promise you specifics, but it enhances market value when you add such major additions to the platform. In addition to that, we're talking to investment agencies about expanding to a Series A, which is an exit, providing additional liquidity based upon the enhanced value in summer of 2002. That's within the next 6 to 8 months, going for Series A. In addition to that, we're looking at expanding into a potential public exit involving agencies, platforms that we may hear about every day, like NASDAQ. But we have that ability. And so we've been preparing ourselves from an accounting standpoint, from a regulatory standpoint, to be able to continue to grow. There are a number of components associated with that. You need a market, you need a demand, you need a product, you need to be able to deliver that product. As you do so, it generates revenue. As it generates revenue, it then enhances your platform so that you can get ready for a Series A investment level, or a Series B or a Series C investment level. And so that's where we are now. And we're moving, as we move from 2001 into 2002, the month of February is the month in which we will be launching our crypto platform with the RTP coin on it, and getting that out there and into the market, circulating within the ecosystem. So now's the time. We're looking forward to market cap growth within just the next 90 days to 6 months. So now's the time to get involved with FinLitX and Netcapital. Let's Let's grow that revenue together in partnership. And wonderfully, we love the Netcapital relationship because it provides us with quality crowdfunding. And in our market, having access to established individuals throughout the country that invest within us, those investors become our partners. Which partner out there, which investor out there hasn't either gone to a high school or a college and that can introduce FinLitX to their college, to their high school? Guess what? We will contact them in your name and we'll introduce our app in your name and introduce financial literacy throughout that community. So we consider you our partners, our marketing partners, not just our financial partners, but our marketing partners to help us grow this marketplace and make a difference socially also within these communities. Let's raise our communities together.
I was clapping offline. I didn't realize I muted. I almost stood up. Very, very excited for what you're building. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and bring us home here because that was a perfect answer to that question. Please do check out that link that I just added again into chat that directs you to the offering page for FinLitX. You can also obviously go directly to Netcapital and search FinLit. But also I want to add a link here because as always, this has been recorded and will be uploaded to the Netcapital YouTube account. So if you missed anything or if you know anybody that you're just thinking, oh my goodness, I wish they were on the line, please do go ahead and share that generously to those who you think might be interested in supporting the cause. Again, super grateful to have the Alexis on the line here. So grateful for the FinLitX team. And more importantly than anything, so grateful for all of you who joined as attendees to learn more about the potential investment opportunity. And again, please do grab that link on YouTube. The video will be up shortly, and you can share that with anybody who you think missed it that might be interested in learning more. So if you guys can join me in thanking the Alexis and the entire FinLitX team, and let's go ahead and bring it home right there. So thank you so much, team. Thank you so much, attendees. Really appreciate your feedback here.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending.
Have a good evening, y'all.
Bye-bye.